BRC meeting. The meeting is called to order. All are present except for Commissioner Laurie, who is excused. Unfortunately, he is ill today. So our first item on our agenda is approval of the minutes. And we have no minutes today.
And may I speak?
Oh, sorry, yes, ma'am.
Why don't we have any minutes ever?
We are in the process of hiring a company, transitioning into the minutes for multi-speaker. We are behind. Nancy?
I just wondered because, you know, if you take notes on the agenda, it's real easy to type minutes from that. You don't have to go back and watch the whole video or anything.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. It's just the time to do it, and unfortunately, I do not have a VPN to work from home. So,
No, you shouldn't do it at home, that's your time.
yes, ma'am.
I just wondered.
Yes, ma'am.
When do you think that may be completed, the hiring? Any idea?
No. Within the next couple of weeks, I mean, Nancy, you're more than welcome to get the minutes caught up. Our city manager has asked if you'd like to do that, but at this time,
I did that twice and my name was not put on those minutes when they were submitted as official.
Okay,
And I
and
requested that to be done as well.
was that under the former clerk?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, moving along. We have the school report. John, any update?
Well, I think it's important that this committee report to the city commission when they meet. And I have some remarks that I had prepared. I don't want to assume anything. If it's your pleasure that I do that, I would go over the remarks and you can add or detract to them. If you would like me to do that, I'll proceed.
Yes, please do.
All right. The Blue Ribbon Committee, these are the remarks I plan to make Thursday evening. The Blue Ribbon Committee is dedicated to producing a business plan that will demonstrate a viable path to funding for the purpose of rehabilitating the Miller Middle School property for the city and community use. The goal of this business plan is to producing funding recommendations to come to the city for the school's rehabilitation and operation without bringing a burden on the taxpayers of Crescent City. On the state level, there is much discussion on possibly changing taxing structures within the state that could affect rural areas. The Blue Ribbon Committee is concerned about this, as is everyone. This could take years to settle out. We see the rural communities not being left out and being protected in the long run. With all this in mind, the Blue Ribbon Committee knows its purpose does not change. Push forward in a request to find possible funding for the rehab and operation of the school property to come as a recommendation to the city, to the Crescent City Commission. And then I list some possible sources of funding, and then I list several schools that have been rehabbed. And I want to close by thanking the commission for all that they do to keep the city safe and viable. That's basically my remarks. They'll be short and sweet, but to the point. I think the point is that the Blue Ribbon Committee moves forward in its mandate to help find funding to be recommended to the city. And that was our mandate, it continues our mandate, and we will continue doing that. Do you think I need to add or detract anything to those remarks?
Commissioners, any comments?
It's good, short and sweet.
Have we, has Charlie Douglas been approved yet to represent the
I think that's on the agenda.
It's on the
Thursday
agenda.
night?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's on the agenda.
I think at that point, we need to reapproach the commission with the idea of a agreement with the school board, and then funding be found to do it. But until we get to the point where the school board is even, on board with the way we present it and want to purchase the building, we can have all this ready, and then we get there and they say, no, we won't accept your plan.
Yeah,
And I think where we would, like I mentioned last meeting, the way we were thrown off was talking about a contract instead of an agreement. If we could get the school board to agree to the terms that we have laid out,
yes, and it could be a,
then we can come back and find the funding and help the commission out find a way to afford to do this.
yes, and there,
But I think we do need to meet with the commission again and re-represent what we want to do, but under the basis of an agreement instead of a contract.
yes, a memorandum of understanding or something of that nature.
Okay.
Yes, I agree.
And should, Ron, are you recommending that be in John's report for this Thursday?
Yes.
Thank you. Kevin, any thoughts?
No, I think I can take advice as well.
Okay. Yes, Mike,
I would suggest instead
could
of,
you come up to the podium?
yes, sorry,
Thank you.
Michael Frank, 83 Lakeshore Drive. I would suggest, Mr. Newbold, instead of using the term rehabilitate, use the word renovate. Renovation is what you do to buildings. Rehabilitate is what you do to people. Now, we'd like to rehabilitate some people, but we're focusing on renovating the school, so that's my suggestion.
Okay.
Renovation.
Thank you. Anyone else? Very nice job as usual, John. Thank you.
Happy to do
Any comments on title this morning?
Our title man's not here.
Yes. REG report. As you all remember, that their report should be to the commission in April.
Did you say April?
April, yes, yeah. And so we're all anxiously awaiting that fine report. Any old business? Any new business? And the agenda?
I am in favor to ask if the agenda, if we could put numbers back on the agenda items.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Any comments from our audience today?
Sorry, me. Good
Yes.
morning, everyone. Christina
morning.
Marie, Assistant City Manager. Firstly, I'd like to thank all of you for being here. It takes a team to make things happen, and you all surely are a great team. Thank you for your service. One thing I'd like to mention as I dig deeper into working with the city and and really diving into everything we have going on here behind the scenes. One thing I just wanted to, and perhaps you already have, is to factor in what it will take to maintain a complex like this and the manpower that it's going to take. We have a difficult time maintaining the existing buildings that we own with our current staff. So when you're factoring in costs and things of that nature to sustain these buildings, please factor in additional staff because we surely will need it to maintain that. Our buildings here are really falling apart at the seams. So that's just something when we're game planning and moving forward, let's think about that too, so that we have the adequate staff to maintain this beautiful complex. Thank you.
Thank you. And let me remark to that. We have, from the beginning, stated that we are very sensitive to finance, not only in choir, but in operations. And of course, it's what we recognize is that if the city were to move into the administration building, it probably wouldn't need all the square footage. And so that structure could be shared with others. The rest of the campus, we've discussed the concept of bringing in partners and leasing out the space where they would come in and do the build out and be responsible for the care and maintenance and the utilities of those structures. There's about a dozen buildings. So what we're looking at is just one building that the city would take over, and perhaps county would also be in that structure. So given that, I think that one could assume that the operational expenses would be similar to what exists today. And in fact, they could be less, because obviously when you have one structure instead of multiple structures, the operating costs are reduced. In addition, of course, there'll be renovations. So after the renovation, assuming the city moves in, then of course, the maintenance could be less, considering, as you just stated, these buildings are in need of repair. So anyways, that's to give you that feedback. Thank you for bringing it up. Any other comments? Thank you. Our next meeting date? Should we look at 2 weeks out? That would bring us to the 25th.
I think the 2-week time period would be better. 25th looks good, yeah.
It's available.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
terrific. Then our next meeting will be March 25th at 9 a.m. Any further comments today?
All right, thank you.
I'd just like to make a closing comment that at the special meeting, the commission asked that we look at the expenses, not only inquiring, but in operating. And we are beginning that process. So, and we will continue to analyze that, and that will be our next report. And of course, we thank the commission for extending our life, and for their continued support. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Second.
Thank you. We are adjourned, and thank you all.